Yes. You weren't her buddy going there to talk to her that.
Closing arguments are expected this week in Lindsay Clancy's murder trial. You're taking a live look at the courthouse right now in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Clancy is accused of murdering her 3 children, which she does not deny, but she has pled not guilty. Clancy's defense argues she was overmedicated and suffering from postpartum psychosis at the time. Now, yesterday, her lawyers called for a mistrial after a prosecution medical expert brought up Clancy's faith and the concept of, quote, mortal sin. This was the second time Catholicism was mentioned and struck from testimony. The judge quickly rejected the defense's motion. Legal experts say if Clancy is convicted, the defense will likely use this issue of religious testimony as part of its appeal process. Well, with me now is Darius Tandon, a professor in the Department of Medical Social Sciences at Northwestern University. Thanks so much for being here, Darius. I really appreciate it. I want to start with postpartum psychosis. Can you explain exactly what that is and how it differs from postpartum depression?
Sure. Thanks, Dana, for having me. Postpartum psychosis, let's start with the main feature. It is rare. It is quite rare. We are talking 1 to 2 of every 1,000 individuals will suffer from postpartum psychosis. It usually develops very quickly within the first few weeks after delivery, and it is marked by delusions, voices in one's head, also sleeplessness, insomnia. There are characteristics of women indicating that they just can't fall asleep, even if they want to fall asleep, and just a general state of not sort of acting like oneself. It is a very significant issue, but again, very rare. Postpartum depression, much more common. We are talking 10 to 20% of women will experience postpartum depression. That tends to occur usually 3 to 6 months after delivery. And again, right now in the news, we are paying attention to postpartum psychosis, and I do not want to downplay the importance of paying attention to that, but I also want to highlight that there are far more individuals who are suffering from postpartum depression who also need great care.
I know for both of these issues, these conditions, screening is so important, and I had 2 kids. They're both, 20-ish now, and so screening I know has come a long way, even in the last couple of decades, but talk about why it's so critical to connect pregnant individuals and new parents with resources and support, and also people who would be able to, raise a red flag if they notice something might be amiss.
Absolutely. First, I'll start by saying that Illinois is actually quite progressive. We are one of the states where screening for postpartum depression is mandated. We're one of only a handful of states, so that is a plus. The great thing is when you do screen for postpartum depression, you are able to identify individuals who need services, who need supports. The issue is we have a shortage of mental health providers. We have some individuals who, even if they are screened as having depression, may have had bad experiences with mental health providers, may have stigma. So there's just a need to make sure that we are not only screening, but also making sure that folks are getting to appropriate services. I mean, why is that important? It's important for really 2 main reasons. We know that postpartum depression, if it is not addressed in mom, it is going to cause a lot of quality of life issues, relationship issues, and also individuals who have postpartum depression, they are 50 to 60% more likely to have another depressive episode, either in a repeat later pregnancy or outside of the perinatal period. And we also know that postpartum depression has huge impacts on parent-child attachment. And that's the other thing that I really want to lean into, that this is a 2-generation issue. Postpartum depression affects mom, but also her parenting, and so thus affects the child as well.
Sometimes if it's really serious, I know some parents, some moms can't even hold their children.
Absolutely.
So much we could talk about. This is a really important topic, and one that people should not be afraid to discuss if they have concerns about a loved one, right?
Absolutely. Listen if somebody is indicating that there's something going on, or you just don't think that they're themselves.
Then get them help.
Get them help and ask them what they need. Some folks are going to ask for help, but we know that a lot of folks don't. So please make sure that you're asking.
Okay, Darius Tandon, thank you so much for joining us to talk about this. I really appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
All right. Well, next, Food insecurity, a major concern in Gary, Indiana, as people have now gone weeks without power. What's being done to help residents there, even when the lights come back on?